projects.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here and talk to you. I already had a talk with you over there about a project that maybe would fit into our program, so I think it's the right audience. Maybe a little bit from myself. I'm Michelle, and I'm program manager of GSGS'17 within Switzerland, and organize everything then with the contacts in Silicon Valley. So, yeah, you already said it. We are a testing lab for interactive tools, products, and experiences. And first, I want to talk a little bit about our background. So we realized that especially in Switzerland, we have a lot of creative minds. We have a lot of great people who actually do great stuff. But the creative economy really needs space to experiment, to grow, and to test stuff on the market and get access to the market. And sometimes it's not happening, or we have great ideas, but there's not the possibility to get it further. So we created DART and offer a testing lab where these projects can come, these startups can come and really can test their ideas, test their prototypes, and then help them to get into the market and to grow. So, who is DART actually for? It is for designers, for artists, researchers, and technologists. So that's obviously the name DART. And the 17, it's kind of confusing because it's the year 17 now, but it's actually not for the year 17, but for the Pier 17. It's where we're located in San Francisco, Silicon Valley. So next year, everybody will be wondering why it's 17. Yeah, so these are the groups we're focusing on. And we look for interdisciplinary teams or projects that have created an interactive experience. So it needs to be something interactive. So not a furniture or anything, but maybe an app or with technologies like AR, VR, IA, or gaming, or anything that is interactive. We have a focus on university projects, since yeah, the people go there, educate themselves, and then build a project maybe for a bachelor or a master project, and then come out of it and try to build it into a startup. I mean, also established startup can apply, so we really try to help them. But one criteria is they need to have a functioning prototype, because it makes sense to go to Silicon Valley with a functioning prototype so you can actually test it. So the developing part needs to be done in Switzerland or wherever the projects are coming from. So I want to give you some examples. Sometimes it's kind of hard to grasp what we actually do. How many of you know Birdly? Did any of you try it? Oh, some of you. Yeah, that's actually quite surprising. Yeah, I never had as many people in the audience try it or knowing it. But it's from Max Birdly. So he's a great colleague of us, and he developed it just as an experiment because he thought it would be amazing, the idea of flying, and it was actually a project with another institution. And then Sophie from SwissNext, she is working with us. She brought them to a conference in Silicon Valley, and there it just got huge attention. Like Google came and asked like how they could buy it, how much it cost. All these big companies like Instagram and all these big companies came, and I mean it was just a prototype. They were not in production. It was just an experiment. But then there was this huge feedback, and so now actually they build a startup out of it, Sonomics, and they're in production. They're selling it to theme parks, to other, Google has one now, or to other companies. And we want to help startups or projects like that to enter into the market and to not have such a rough start as like Birdly or Max did have. I want to show you two current projects. One is Break a Leg. They're a VR studio, and they released the game actually just 2 days ago on the new Samsung VR gear. And they created a virtual reality game where you actually decide as well how the story will continue. So they're really great. And then we have Struct. They created a platform where you can build your own game. So they use it actually as a marketing tool for companies. So it's a B2B business model where, for example, Audi is one of their customers. They labeled the items of the games with Audi, with the Audi logo, and now Audi is using it as a marketing tool for their customer, and their customers can build really easy their game and then share it and play it and stuff. So it's a really cool idea. Now I want to tell you about what we actually offer in our program. So we offer you a desk for 1 to 3 months in Silicon Valley. I will show you a map of where it is right after. Then you will get a stipend of $5,000 per project. It's really not a lot for Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is expensive, but we don't want that it will be an issue to come over to Silicon Valley. So we give you a little bit of money. Then we will, one of the huge part of GSGS'17 is that we will introduce you to our network that will share with you our contacts to the investors, to the industry, to the developers, to the people from Silicon Valley and from the scene where actually the innovation is happening and where all the new things are coming from. We have a huge network also from mentors and coaches that will give you workshops and will coach you on what maybe is missing on your project or how to continue or give you just advice. And we will also do events for you. For example, for Breakout, we did an event where we invited all the key players so they could try the game and give feedback, what is missing out, what would be a good idea to do. And we also go to conferences with our projects. So we go to South by Southwest. It's one of the biggest conferences in America, and it has a huge impact actually. And we went there in March, and we'll continue to go there, and also Sundance and GDC and all these different conferences where we do matchmaking events with investors. So if you need funding, that would be the place where you meet the investors as well. Yeah, those are some parts of what our program offers. Then here on the map, you will see the location. It's the new Swiss Pier, and it's right at the waterfront, so it's a beautiful view. This view is really great. You will see the ocean and the seals, and sometimes there are even dolphins. It's great. I was there in March, and it's amazing. It's also a lot of other companies in the workplace where you can exchange your ideas, and it's a really great atmosphere to work, and where people really encourage each other and help you, and you will help others, and it's a great place to work at. So this is our team. There's Sophie from Swiss Next. She lives in Silicon Valley since 10 years and really knows what's happening there. Also has an artistic focus and knows what's going on there in the creative industry. Then we have Ariana. She works for Swisscom in the Outpost in Menlo Park and has a focus on consumer games and stuff, and really has also the connection to the AR, VR scene, to the business scene, and knows what's happening there within Silicon Valley in the business area and the innovation area. And there's me. I'm in Switzerland and doing the coordination and helps guiding the projects and doing everything here and organizing stuff for them. So these 4 companies made Dart possible. Actually, there's a new one. It's Stiftung Get Betrüff. They're joining us just lately. But these are the main partners. So my take-home message is, if you have a project, please let me know. We would love to help you, and we'd love to bring your project further. And there's also, we don't take any shares or anything. After that, it's really an investment in the Swiss innovation scene and the innovation scene in the creative industry. So if you have a project and you would benefit from a stay in Silicon Valley, like, please let me know and I can help you with the application or with whatever is needed. And then there's our website. All the information are there. You can also take a tour around the office. It's kind of cool. You can scroll through a video and then it will guide you through the office. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can talk to me directly afterwards or shoot an email to contact@dart17.com. It will come to me as well. So, thank you a lot.
Thank you very much. I think I know already some of my students who are really, really interested in applying.
Perfect.
So you will get some applications from Geneva. I'm quite
Perfect.
sure about that.
Yeah.
I allow myself also to ask the first question. Actually, what are your, maybe you can tell us a bit more, like what are your personal insights or what kind of knowledge you acquired by following one of these projects you presented, like from the phase where they came in and then the 3 months after, like, you know, like team-wise, did that change something, or like how fast is actually the development going within it's quite a short of time, because you noticed it's between 1 and 3 months. So I'm curious what kind of insights do you have, like, by just like following these projects?
Sure. So I will use Break-A-Leg as an example. They actually, like, the 1 to 3 months are really flexible. They came to Silicon Valley and stayed for like 3 weeks there, and then they realized they got all this feedback and inputs, and then they realized, okay, we have to develop further. Now we have to develop our prototype further, and they actually came back to Switzerland, developed, and then went back to Silicon Valley and went a couple times back and forth. But they really gained a lot from the time. Like, they now have they closed the deal with Oculus, and they're making the VR glasses. I don't know if you know them. They're like a big player in the industry. They closed the deal with SRF, with different partners that we could introduce them to. So they really benefited a lot of with making concrete deals, but also from visibility and the matchmaking with the investors. So they, like, over the time they're now in the program, they grew a lot. But they're not. They did it really flexible in coming back and forth, which allowed them to be for a longer period of time into the program, and they gained a lot out of it. Yeah.
Thank you. Other questions from the audience?
Hi, thanks for sharing this really exciting initiative. I'm curious, what are some of the main criteria by which you judge your applications?
Sure. So one is how ready is the prototype, but it will not be a criteria to give you a no, but we'll maybe say, okay, wait a little bit, like develop further, and then you can come into the program. So one criteria that needs to be fulfilled is that it needs to be interactive. I already mentioned that. And then how, like, if we see the potential in it, like, is there a potential to scale it? Yeah, it's actually a really short application. You can see it on the website.
The question was, do you ask for a business plan already, or not in that stage?
No. Sure.
Other questions, comments? Okay. Yes, maybe one from up there, from Patrick.
Well, just basically, what do you gain by helping out these people and these projects?
Yeah, that's one of the most asked questions. So it is just a contribution to the Swiss innovation scene. So Swisscom doesn't have anything come out of it except, like, reputation, and the other companies as well. So they just do something for the Swiss innovation scene, but we don't take shares. There's nothing directly coming out of it. I mean, there's the possibility that, for example, Swisscom Ventures that invests in startups will maybe contact you and ask you if you want to close a deal with them, but that's up to the startup, like, and we cannot choose the startups for Swisscom or any other company.
Yeah. Well, in my perception, it's like a startup within SwissNext itself, kind of like a small subsection of SwissNext, which is also trying to promote Swiss art culture throughout the world. So,
yeah.
Another question, maybe. What is the main themes of the project where you help? What is the most biggest represented theme?
Like in terms of technology, or like what sector they're in?
I don't know. For the educational part, more for the artistic one. I don't know. What is the main project that you receive?
Okay, so we receive the most applications from technology-based startups, but that have a creative approach. But a lot of AR, VR stuff, but also now we have one from like in car driving themselves, like a system that communicates with the humans, like different technology stuff, but it's kind of really broad, yeah.
Okay, thank you again very much, Michelle. I hereby. And no, this one is for Nina. Yes, an attestation.
Thank you.
And I'm inviting to the scene the next speaker.
I need to.
Actually, it's a big pleasure for me to have Mela Kocher here on the stage. I already worked together with her, so she's going to present us a research project which she did in Hong Kong. Mela is a researcher and game designer, also working for the ZHDK, for the University for Art and Design in Zurich, Zürcher Hochschule für Kunst. And we're fixing the last technical challenges before we dive into the design challenges of a serious urban game.
Thank you. Gordon.